Hello and welcome back to Toast and Strawberry Jam. Thank you for joining me for another video. Today I'm going to be doing what I think is a first for me, and that is a tag video. I've been wanting to kind of do a tag for a while, but I've been trying to find the right one, and I just sort of went for it today. I went for one that had like no questions, that was kind of personal to the person who is doing the tag, and maybe you can like get to know me from doing this tag. You already know what the tag is. I don't know why I'm pretending like you don't know what the tag is. I'm going to do the emoji tag, and so basically I look at my like top 5 most recently used emojis and then try and fit a book to it. Now I know what a couple of my most recently used emojis were, but I don't know what the others were, and the two that I'm thinking of are going to be a bit weird. Right, okay. So the first emoji is like the smiley, kind of blushy emoji. I'll try and find a picture and like put it up. I guess this one to me kind of sums up just like content, like a book that I've read and have been content with, and that has made me happy. So I'm going to pick Little Women, and this book was like one of the first kind of classics I read, and I really enjoyed it. It took me quite a while to read it because it, you know, it's not like action-packed and full of like violence and war and all of those things. It's just quite a sort of, I don't know, it's just life happening, and it's beautiful, and I loved it, and like it's sad but it's also really happy, and I think it's just a really nice book. And so this is my kind of content emoji book. The next one is a kind of like emoji. Again, I'll find it and I'll put it up. And so this is kind of like maybe a book that made me feel sort of awkward. Like that's where I kind of use that kind of emoji where it's like, that was a bit of an awkward situation. Like, so I'm thinking a book that made me feel uncomfortable. So the book I'm picking for this one, I don't actually have the copy of the first book in this trilogy. The trilogy seems like a much too epic word for this series, but I do have one of the sort of later books in the series, and that is the 50 Shades of Grey series. I read the first one on the train, and I didn't know anything about it when I picked it up. I just sort of like picked something up because I had like quite a long train journey on my own and I wanted to read something, and I was just like, yeah, that kind of grabs my attention. And I didn't know what I was getting myself in for. So I'm sat on the train with all of these business people, because it was like travelling at a sort of strange time when only business people seem to be travelling, and a lot of people were giving me some really odd looks and I had no idea why, and then suddenly I realise why I'm getting all of these strange looks, and then it's kind of like, do I stop reading it and then people maybe judge me more because I feel uncomfortable that they're like looking at me on the train while I'm reading it, or do I just keep reading it as if like, yeah, I don't care that you're looking at me like that while I'm reading this novel. So the next one is like the 3 little kind of water droplets. It's kind of like, I use it as like sweat or like tears, but in this situation I'm going to be using it as tears. And so a book that I read recently that made me cry, that I wasn't necessarily expecting to cry while reading. And for that one I'm going to pick We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I just finished that, which was my TBR book. I finished it and I loved it. It was great, and I hadn't read anything about it. I didn't really know much about it. I'd like managed to miss any spoilers and things like that, and oh my goodness, I cried, and it was really awkward because I was reading it like on the sofa and my husband wanted to eat lunch and he kept like coming in and being like, hey, are you done? Can we eat? And I was like, no, just a couple more pages. I was like, it was so beautifully written. I loved that book so much, and yeah, it made me weep so much, and I don't like crying whilst I'm reading, so I try to like hold it all back. and that makes like your eyes and your throat hurt, and it just makes you look even more disgusting, personally, I think. So yeah, that was my recent crying book. So the next emoji is the ear emoji, strangely. So this one is going to be an audiobook, and so I'm going to tell you what audiobook I am currently listening to. I tend to be listening to an audiobook like long term, like I don't listen to audiobooks in the same way that I read normal books, or not anymore. I used to sort of, you know, count it as reading a book, and so I would just sit down and listen to the audiobook instead of reading a book. But now I kind of have it as like an extra. It's just like, oh, in the opportunities where I don't actually have like free hands to read, I can listen to an audiobook instead. And so at the moment I am listening to Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. I have got 4 hours and 40 minutes left, and I tend to listen to this on the bus to and from work. And so I kind of get like maybe an hour listening a day, but I don't listen to it every day, because some days it's like I'm really tired and the bus is really loud, so I'd have to have the volume really loud on my headphones, and that makes my head hurt. Or sometimes like I get the bus with a friend, so it would be like antisocial to listen to an audiobook while I was with my friend. So I don't listen to it every day, but I am trying to finish that, because I know that there is a TBR challenge to listen to an audiobook, and I want to start and finish an audiobook within that month. So I need to get Neverwhere finished so that I can move on guilt-free to a new audiobook. And the last emoji is the like cool emoji, like the guy with the shades on. And so this is the book that I read because everybody else was reading it. Like, they're definitely the kind of jumping on the bandwagon, read it because everyone else was, needed to know what was going on because I didn't understand all of the like cultural references and all that kind of stuff. And I am really ashamed to say that actually probably the book that fits this most is Harry Potter. Like, I didn't read Harry Potter until just after The Half-Blood Prince was released. So that's like 6 books in to the series. Like I had up to book 4 because my dad bought them and he was reading them, and I started to read the first one, but I just didn't like it. I just couldn't get into it. I wasn't interested. It was back when I wasn't really reading and I just didn't enjoy it. It's a book, no. And then I got into it big time. I think after watching the 3rd film, there was like, and I got some friends who were like really into reading, and they were like, Harry Potter was amazing. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. And I was just like sucked in. And then I got these 2 for Christmas, like the Christmas before the final book was released. And then I went with my friends to like our local independent bookstore and waited at midnight. We were the first in line to get the new book. We were first in line, but then when it actually came to get in the shop, somebody else pushed in front of us, so we didn't get the first one, and I was really angry. But yeah, so it was definitely, for me, that was kind of a bandwagon kind of thing. I wouldn't have read it if all my friends hadn't been reading it. And yeah, that's kind of embarrassing for me to say because I could probably owe an awful lot of my like love of reading to those books, and so it's kind of embarrassing that there was a point in my life where I was just like, whatever, Harry Potter is so lame. Like, I watched the films and I enjoy the films. Enjoyed the films. I still do enjoy the films. Enjoyed the films, but I just didn't get into the books for like a ridiculously long time. But then once I was in the books, once I liked the books, that was it. Like, I read The Half-Blood Prince just in a day. It was like Christmas. I was like, Merry Christmas, Mum and Dad, give me the books, I'm going upstairs, don't disturb me unless you're bringing me turkey, in which case, only briefly, and I just read them, like, both of these in fact, I read just like back to back, and then I didn't go outside for like 2 days for the Deathly Hallows because I knew that my friends would read it faster than me, and I wanted to read it and not get any spoilers, and I didn't get any spoilers. Love Harry Potter. Love Harry Potter. Okay, so that's it for the emoji tag. I wasn't actually tagged by anyone to do this, I just decided that I wanted to do it, and I don't know anybody to tag, so I'm just gonna tag everybody. If you want to do it, then do it. Basically, as I say, pick your 5 like most recently used emojis and then relate books to them. It's that simple. So thank you very much for watching. I hope I was normal. I feel like I was like really weird today. I've been sick, I've been ill, and I think I'm just delirious. So thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye! It is really cold, I can't feel my toes. Oh no, one of the ones I was thinking of isn't most recently used. I've never used that. I've never used that one. There are tags here there are emojis here that I have never used. So the next one is a cow. And oh, I've had an idea for this one. I was like, what am I gonna do with cow? But I guess I could go for like a book or series that I feel has been like milked for everything, for every last like penny that like the world can get out of it. And actually it's kind of difficult, I kind of find it hard to pick one. I guess a lot of very popular like young adult books or like children's books get like milked quite heavily for everything. Like, you know, you get like the book and then you get the film and then you get the card game and then you get the just like regular card pack, like, but with the people on it instead of with like normal numbers and suits and things. So you might have like the Harry Potter playing card deck that's just like, instead of having diamonds and hearts and spades and clubs, you have Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Slytherin and Gryffindor, like that kind of thing. That kind of thing, it kind of bugs me, but it kind of doesn't. Like, I definitely like, when I enjoy something, I really like to kind of have all of the things about it. Like, so I have all of the Harry Potters, but then I decided that I wanted to have like multiple copies of some of them. So I've got like a hardback version and the paperback version of the Half-Blood Prince, and I intend on getting like hard covers of Order of the Phoenix and then hard covers of these ones. Like, I want to have like more than the required amount of books